The next topic we're going to discuss is when does title pass? Now, what does that matter? Why do we care when title passes? Well, it is a very critical issue about when title passes, because if the property is destroyed or lost, or in some fashion, altered, who has the right to file an insurance claim? Or who is going to lose if they don't have insurance? So when title passes to personal property is a very important subject. Generally, we say it is when the parties intended to pass, when they intended to pass, or at a specific time when the parties unconditionally agree to sell specific goods that are to be delivered in a particular state. So that example that I just gave you about the wheat, the intention is that title would pass would be dependent upon the parties. Did they intend that it would pass as soon as there was an agreement to buy it? Or did they intend the title to pass when the purchaser showed up with their trucks and the warehouse receipt and said, I'm here, I'd like to have the 10,000 bushels. It's important because if that elevator were destroyed in a tornado or a hurricane or a fire, and the title had passed to the buyer, then the buyer has lost the value of the 10,000 bushels of wheat. And the buyer, if they know that, okay, we intend title to pass as soon as we've made this agreement and signed this agreement, then the buyer knows they need to get an insurance policy or they're going to bear the risk of the loss. So when title passes is critical about who has what rights and what responsibilities. Now, we often talk about conditions to a sale. We have terms that we agree to. We agree we're going to buy a 2006 Ford Focus. We agree we're going to pay, $15,000 for it. We're going to agree that we're going to take delivery on a certain date. So we have terms, but there also can be what we call conditions. And a contract, provision that specifically says there are conditions that must be met by one of the parties, that can affect, title, because title does not generally pass until those conditions are met. Now we have two types of conditions. Conditions precedent, meaning the conditions that are before the sale, before title passes, and conditions that are subsequent, conditions that must be met after title passes. Now in chapter 14, you see a discussion here that a person has decided to buy an automobile. They've agreed upon the price, they've agreed upon the, how they're going to pay by cash or by borrowing money. They've agreed upon when they're going to take, this agreement is going to be consummated. But if there's a condition preceding it, it might say, okay, I don't like the tires on that car. I want a new set of Michelin tires as a condition preceding to this agreement. So the agreement is written up. It is signed by both parties, but it says that a condition preceding is before the title passes to me, you have to put a new set of tires on. So title passes as soon as we find out that the new tires have been put on. Now we have a completed agreement. So a condition preceding. A condition subsequent is the specific condition that must be met after the title has passed. Now just in the last few days, General Motors, emerging from bankruptcy and trying to encourage people that they're going to be around and that they're dependable and that their cars are worthy of your consideration to purchase, has instituted a policy of allowing people to return the car within 60 days, supposedly, no questions asked. You didn't like it, it didn't operate like you thought, it was going to cost you more money than you thought to operate it, or you discovered that the payment was going to be higher than your budget would allow. So they have provided a condition that says within 60 days, if you don't like the car, for whatever reason, you bring it back. And so it's a condition subsequent, meaning it happens after, and because it's happening after, then there is no contract. It is, you had an agreement, you signed everything, but a condition that you were allowed to return it has taken place, and you have exercised that right.